And hello, this is Mike Lodge. I'm glad you've joined me. So, after this morning's podcast, which was kind of depressing and everything because it was about unemployment and jobs and laying off and everything else, I decided to come back and talk just a little bit about leadership. I think that what we're seeing right now is a really good example in bad leadership. And we're seeing it not only in the White House and through the president himself, but through all the other leaders he has hired to lead. So I want to go through some of the processes of how leaders resolve issues or resolve problems. Because if you're a good leader, you will focus on the problem and you will try to find a way to resolve it. Not blame others, not yell at other people, not threaten them, and a whole bunch of other writing of letters and telling them that they've got to do better. No. Leadership means that if there is an issue, there is a problem, you sit down with those individuals and you talk about a solution to the issues and the problems that is holding up the system of producing more children's milk, producing more fuel, whatever the case may be, or even pulling troops out of a nation, out of a country that we should not be in. But it has to do with that leader's ability to lead and to be able to communicate in the best way possible to resolve those situations. And it means mediating sometimes. It means sitting down and listening to both sides and trying to get both of them to work out a positive solution that can get things working again. That's what we need in the country at the moment, is to start talking about it and working on the issues and not pointing fingers at each other. I mean, both sides are doing it, the Republicans and the Democrats and the president and whoever else he's pointing, the oil companies. They're all pointing fingers at each other, but they're not sitting down and resolving the issues. So what do you need to do to be a good leader? And one of them is you have to have transparent communication. It has to be there. You have to be transparent. Problem solving requires transparent communication where everyone's concerns and points of view are freely expressed, where you can say it out loud. I've seen one too many times how difficult it is to get to the root of the matter in a timely manner when people do not speak up. And that's why, as a mediator, I allow these people in front of me to have their time to speak up and say whatever they need to say, and to speak it truthfully from their hearts. Not lying, not pointing fingers, but telling what the true issue is that is on the table that they want to talk about. You have to be transparent. You have to allow people to say what the issues are. That's why I firmly believe that Biden should call all these oil companies in and say, okay, I want to hear the problems that you're having, that so that we can get to the root of the problem, so that we can resolve it and find a way to pump up the gas. Not the prices, but to pump up some more gas. Now, he might be too political that he can't do that because he's already on the green path. He's on that path where he wants to have everybody in electric cars. It's not going to happen. So he's got to be transparent. He's got to be able to listen as well as let people speak. The other thing is called breaking down the silos. Transparent communication requires you to break down silos and enable a boundaryless, organization whose culture is focused on the betterment of a healthier whole. In other words, the whole country as a whole, or the whole group as a whole. Unnecessary silos invite these hidden agendas rather than the welcome, efficient, cross-functional collaboration and problem solving. We got these things in the way. Right now, in our situation in America, it's called politics. Instead of looking at the betterment of the whole of the nation and what needs to be solved so that individuals are not paying $5 and $6 and $7 a gallon, we got to push that politics out of the way so that we can get to the point where we can talk about how do we get back to efficiently pumping oil and bringing down the cost so that we are independent of any other nation. We're not relying on any other nation to provide us with gas. We have to break down this silo. And the biggest silo that we have at the moment is this stupid thing called politics. And then you have to have open-minded individuals. If you sit down with a group of people, I always tell the people who are in front of me for mediation, you have to be open-minded and you have to bring something to the table. So when you're open-minded, that means please listen to what the other side is saying. Evaluate what they're saying. Sometimes you might be saying the same thing, but you're saying it in different ways that a mediator has to come in and say, this is what was said, and I think you guys are both in agreement. But if you don't have open-minded people, the president might not be open-minded enough to listen to other people's opinions and views. That might have the solution to the problem, but he's closed-minded. So you have to be open-minded. Open-minded people see beyond the obvious details before them and view risk as their best friend. They tackle problems head on and get on with the business of driving growth in innovation. Closed-minded employees, closed-minded managers turn things around to make it more about themselves and less about what is required to convert a problem into a new opportunity. And that's the problem that we have at the moment, is we have a closed-minded president. That is the problem. And then you have to come up with a fundamental, sound, solid strategy. If you guys can all come to the table together, so many times in mediation, I have opposing sides that are in front of me. They hate each other. But through the communication process, through the haggling, through the negotiation, through putting stuff on the table that they think might work, we finally get to a good strategy to solve the problem. And then it becomes a working document that we can work with, that both parties can work with to solve the problem. But if we don't have the ability, if we don't have the people in charge willing to have an open mind and not be able to listen because politics is in the way, we're not going to come very soon to a solution to our inflation problem. In fact, it's driving it the other way into a deeper recession or even a deeper depression. You know when you have good leadership. You know that you have a great leadership in your organization when problem solving becomes a seamless process that enables the people in the organization to grow and get better. If problem solving creates chaos, you may have a serious leadership deficiency. And at the moment, we have a leadership deficiency because we're not resolving the problems. We're not sitting down and we're talking about it. We're pointing fingers. We're blaming people. We are yelling at each other. We're threatening each other. But no one ever sits down and talks. That's the same problem that we have in Ukraine. Everybody's fighting. Everybody's going back and forth. We're spending billions and trillions of dollars on a war that isn't even ours, but no one's sitting down and wanting to talk peace. You know, as a mediator, I love my job. And as a business advisor, I love my job. And as a tax guy, I love my job. I get to hear so many different stories and so many different conflicts and disputes. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, after we've sat down and I have listened to both people, and we start putting things down on paper that we can resolve these issues with, we have something on the table that we can work with. Both sides are in agreement and we're ready to go. There's no politics, there's no anger, there's no further hate. We are talking about the core issue at that moment. Nothing else matters. What has happened in the past doesn't matter. What happens is that we are focused on the issue of the moment. We should be focused on gasoline prices in our production. We should be focused on the transportation issues that we have, the supply chain. We should be focused on the incentives of getting a country that is in this growth mode instead of a deflationary mode or a depression mode or an inflationary mode. We have got to begin to sit down as politicians and hammer out some understandings of what we need to do. I understand it's a political year, and I understand you are all beating the drums of however you believe, but put the drums down, get a piece of paper and pencil and sit down and let's start talking. I would ask that the oil companies invite the president to a city, have him sit down with you. No press, no nothing, just sit down. It's a confidential conversation that you're having with the president. Invite him. Not just one or two, but the whole lot of you. Sit down, talk about what your needs are, then invite the president to come and have him listen to what needs to happen. What you're feeling, what the problems you're having with the Department of Energy, what the leases that you know that 9,000 leases that you have, what is the problem with those 9,000 leases? We understand 22 of them are in legal conflict because of environmental issues, but what are the other what are the other portion of those that could produce oil? Is it the fact that why are you going to put money into it if the government is trying to shut you down later on? I understand that argument. So let's sit down and say, what are the possibilities of us all working on this issue so that we can get it resolved? A lot of this has to do with government manipulation of leases. I understand that. Does the president understand that? Maybe not. Does the Department of Energy understand that what they're doing might be causing a bigger problem than where we should be at the moment? We need to start sitting down and finding solutions. We can no longer call people names. We can no longer point the blame at other people. If you are part of that problem, then admit it. Be honest. Don't lie anymore. Don't lie about the economy. Don't lie about how much gas you're pumping out of the ground. I don't care about that. Don't tell me another lie because I'm not going to listen to any more lies. As an American, I want solutions, and we had better get it pretty soon. If you need my help, sit down with me. I'll be more than happy to mediate it. But we need solutions. No more pointing of the fingers. No more calling of names. Be a president and lead. This is Mike Lodge. I hope everybody has a great day. I'm waiting for a rainstorm to come through. A big old gust of wind came through and bent the trees over, I saw, as I was talking to you. But I tell you, when the rain comes in, it comes in like people are just pouring buckets on the house. But that's okay. It's free water. I don't have to go out and water the garden tonight. Everybody, come on, let's resolve this problem. There is a solution to this problem. We just need to be focused. This is Mike Lodge, the business advisor. I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.